Okay, hello everybody. It's recovery day, and we're going to focus on two things specifically today. One is going to be hydration, because we haven't talked a whole lot about hydration yet. We did a little bit with our nutritional piece that we had last week, but not a ton on hydration. So we're going to take just a minute or two and speak to that. And then for those of you guys that did some of our speed, agility, quickness drills yesterday, you might be feeling this a little bit in your lower legs, your calves, your feet, ankles. So we're going to spend a minute on foam rolling and just some mobility stuff for your lower legs. Cool? So just a quick piece on hydration. You know, you hear things like, oh, a gallon of water a day or 8 cups of water a day, which is half a gallon. But, you know, the thing that I'd want to kind of just make sure you guys understand is, I think with a lot of us being at home over the last few weeks more than usual, there seems to have been a heavier commitment to personal fitness, right? When I look around, I see a lot of people running, I see a lot of people cycling, and just being more sensitive to that that physical fitness piece of things. And I would just want to say, whatever your kind of hydration strategy was before, or whatever the adequate amount of hydration was before you started picking up the intensity levels, that probably needs to pick up as well. Some people may have had a particular hydration strategy, or said, hey, a couple of bottles of water a day are fine for me. But now they've increased their exercise, which means they're sweating more and their body just needs more, and they haven't adjusted that hydration as well. So I would just want to say, hey, make sure that you're looking at your daily activity, and if you're taking that up, then the hydration needs to go up as well. And hydration could be anything from water-enriched foods, to just drinking more water, electrolyte drinks, or whatever it is. But in terms of water, again, the numbers that I have heard, you know, ballpark a gallon or a little less for the average person a day, and you can spread that up, you know, spread that out through the day or whatever. Again, I'll let you guys kind of decide that. I would just want to say, if your intensity's going up, if the activity level's going up, then the hydration needs to go up as well, just to match that. Cool? Second thing is lower extremities. Again, for the folks that joined us yesterday for our speed, agility, quickness drills, in my experience, one of the things that you might be feeling today, or people when they first start putting that kind of training in, calves are super sore, feet are sore, ankles, just they're just feeling it in their lower legs. So we've talked a little bit, you know, last week we talked about calves, lats, and hip flexors. I think those are still good kind of reference points for general public. But today specifically, we're going to talk about calves and just lower leg in general, and some treatment stuff there. So I'm going to start out here real quick for a nod to Joe Tiger and Netflix there. If any of you guys have been watching that, it's a crazy show. This here is called a tiger's tail. I talked a little bit about just a rolling pin or something like that last week. If you have one of these, something like this is absolutely fantastic, right? It's something that you can do while kind of you're watching TV or anything else. Again, rolling pin, anything like that, just kind of working some of that tissue in your lower legs. Sometimes it's kind of hard to get to, and we are familiar with kind of some static flexibility, but sometimes that doesn't quite get it the way that we want to. So anything like this, just kind of working that tissue is great. Obviously, you could do hamstrings as well. You could do kind of some of your, you know, kind of peroneals and stuff like that here too. But again, I would just want to kind of work some of those calves with a tiger tail or a rolling pin or anything. But most of us have a foam roller, whether it's a Hyperice vibrating foam roller or just a regular one. What I want to kind of have you guys focus on here, when I get up here, what I want to make sure I'm doing, most people will kind of work through the length of kind of their kind of lower calf and upper calf pretty reasonably. But the two movements I'd like to kind of put in is, I think when you get to a certain spot here and you're kind of feeling some sensitivity, I think just getting some kind of foot flexion there, just kind of pulling those toes back, really getting some movement in your calf, that's going to move some of that tissue around, continuing to kind of move and look for those sore spots. The other thing I would say is some internal and external rotation. I think you can work that tissue pretty well that way as well. Cool. The other thing I would say, and I've heard a couple of different strategies, is you can get some golf balls if you have that, put them on the ground, just kind of roll your feet over the top of them if you feel some kind of soreness in your feet. I've heard of people getting bottles of water and freezing them, and then you can take it out of the freezer, kind of lay it on its side, kind of roll your foot on that too, so you're kind of icing and massaging at the same time. Either way, you're just trying to get some kind of tissue work or some movement into that tissue, which, like I said last week, is just going to move blood, and the more blood we can get to those sites and through those areas, the more healing power that we're going to have. Cool. So again, short message today: hydration. If your intensity goes up, if your mileage goes up, activity level goes up, hydration needs to go up equally. And then let's make sure that we hit these lower legs today, because you may be feeling it from yesterday's speed, agility, and quickness. We had a great time. My kids were talking about it all night, so hopefully you guys had a good time as well. We'll play with some more of that next week. But tiger's tail, foam roll, let's make sure we work some of those lower extremities there. If you have a hypervolt, then obviously you can get right to the areas there. But I appreciate you guys' time. I'll put some of these in the notes, some of these things that we talked about in the notes as well. And if you need anything or if you have any questions, just throw them in there, and we'll look forward to talking to you guys soon. Thanks.